All right, so we did a thing. We actually ended up getting a travel trailer. So I'm gonna turn around, take you on a little quick tour inside, and then we gotta get to work because this thing needs some heavy duty fixing up. Here we go. All right, so this is a 2006 Forest River Flagstaff, 29.5 feet long with 2 slide outs. This is the bunkhouse slide out, and then the other side we have a super slide. So let's go inside and take a look. And yes, I've already been working on it. A lot of work to be done. We got outside power with the generator going so I can have air conditioning in here and you can hear it. But let's fix the lens first. All right, that's better. Now we can see. So this is where I've been doing all the work right now because we had a lot of water damage to the subfloor. So I'm having to rip up everything. It's all hard styrofoam that's in there. It's just got caked on old wood and we're just ripping it up, and you can see right there is where I've already kind of got some up and got my process down. But this Luan, I'm having to take the Luan off the front, and that one also has a little bit of water damage up there in each corner. So my guess is that window had leaked at one time, and so we're gonna have to like make sure that the seal is all good, take all that out. We're gonna take these guys out, but a lot of work to be done here, but it's gonna look incredible once we're done with it. But yeah, a lot of work still to be done. I like the layout though. But just give you a little quick tour. Super slide, dinette, lots of storage, and then sorry about the noise. I'll turn the air conditioner off so you can hear me. But this is the little bunkhouse slide, and that little piece folds down. So if you got little kids, one of them can sleep up there, but you know, one big adult could sleep right there, 2 little kids could sleep right there, no problem. So it's good layout, and then whoa, a little washed out right there, but that's the bathroom, and linen closet and a lot of storage in there. Okay, so let's see if you can flip me around. Already sweating to death in here. So a lot of work to do, a lot of promising stuff. This thing's got great bones, and I can't wait to get started on it already or finish this thing up. So here we go. We're gonna get started on the bedroom. Let's go. All right, any good renovation project is going to start out with demolition. And since we're doing the floor, we've got to get everything off of the floor. The linoleum comes up pretty easily. That's not too bad, and there's about 1 million trips to open up the door, and it was hotter than balls. Can I say that? I definitely recommend doing this on a little bit cooler day. You can actually see all the sweat on the back of my shirt. But we had the air conditioning running in the RV. Big hat tip to my wife. She was incredible during this whole entire process, and as a matter of fact, all the painting that you saw on walls or anywhere practically was all completed by her. We'll do a full walkthrough at the end once we have everything done, and she'll be on camera talking me through the whole entire process of what she did on the inside. But here I am with the multi-tool and the circular saw, just making cross cuts, kind of getting through this top layer of wood and exposing that styrofoam underneath. And yeah, this was a little bit of a pain in the butt to get off, but I went through a couple of blades on the multi-tool. But I found out that this was the easiest and best process to getting down to that little thin layer of fabric without cutting through it. This was the easiest process to do, and you just take it out in little chunks as you see that I'm doing there. Occasionally, you're going to need a hammer and a little bit of a flat tool, flat blade, something like that that you can get underneath and just pop that stuff up. Pretty easy. And by the way, 100% you have to have on eye protection and a full nose and mouth protection. I'm wearing a respirator that has 2 filters on each side, and you have to have that in when doing that kind of work. Hey, and bonus prize, I do not have plumber's crack when doing this, facing this direction towards the camera. But what I'm doing here is I've made some framing for the cross members because it was a little bit soft right there in that area, and so I'm just trying to like really build it up. And now I'm coming in and putting the rigid foam insulation which ended up being about 1.5 inches, I think is what I ended up with. Putting the support framing in really helped out with the sag that's going on right here just before you go into the bedroom. There wasn't much anywhere else. But now we're just going to put on the subfloor, just a little subfloor sheathing, and tack it all down. And I'm using staple gun to do all that. Now I'm using zip tape. I just wanted to tape the seams. I was just, I guess, a little bit OCD when it comes to this, but probably didn't need to do that. I just felt the need to go ahead and zip tape all of the seams and make them tight. And I don't know if you've ever worked with zip tape before, but if your fingers touch the sticky side, you almost cannot pull your fingers off of it. It is crazy sticky. All right, so now I'm in the bedroom and doing the exact same thing, bringing in some support framing. This really helped out. I actually came back through later and put more cross pieces in the middle, giving it even more support. Now this is going to be where the bed frame is, so you're really not going to need too much support there because it's being covered already by storage underneath the bed. But I came back through later and just added some more just to give that additional support. This is 1/4 inch plywood, 1/4 inch subfloor. That matched up with the other subfloor that was there because I didn't want to have any kind of ridge going across the floor when you're walking across it. So everything matched up. And I couldn't get one solid piece into that room, so I actually had to cut it. And here my wife and I are adding on the new Luan to the bed frame. And there's the finished subfloor and finished part for the bedroom and out here into the living area. Now we can start laying our luxury vinyl plank. This is Dockside Hickory that I got from Lowe's, and it's 5 inches wide. Not very expensive, works great, very easy to install, very easy. And you'll see occasionally that I added a little bit of liquid nails to just randomly across the floor, all throughout the whole entire floor. I put liquid nails on there just to kind of hold them in place. You really don't have to do this if you're in kind of a house. You don't have to actually use liquid nails. But here in a moving object, I kind of want them to be stationary, several of them. So I just use that. There's a few tools that you're going to need whenever laying the floor, and then you'll probably have to purchase. One is that block. You're going to see me actually tapping a tap block, using that quite a bit, just to kind of square things up. Obviously you're going to need a knife and a speed square, pretty sharp knife, so you can just score the edge and it just breaks real easy. That's all you have to do. Just find your line, score the edge just a little bit, and it'll snap in half. The other thing that you're going to need is the tool where I hook it on one end and I can kind of pull the end and tap the other side with a hammer. And as you just saw, my wife and I put down a chalk line across the floor just so I remain on that same path all the way across, and I measured to the slide out side. That way I stayed square all the way across the floor. Another handy tool to have is the jigsaw, just like you saw me using here on this vent hole, and around corners and odd angles that the knife just can't score and break. You're going to need to use a jigsaw to cut those angles out, kind of like around the lower cabinets there. When I'm bringing a new piece in, I will hook the end in first before I do the sides. Hook those in, and you can see me kind of lifting it up and using the tab block, and I'm connecting it with the other boards that were already down. But you gotta be able to lift up just a little bit just to slide it under. And this is just the process over and over, and before you know it, you'll be through the entire floor. And so here I am working on the slide out, and you'll get a chance to see just exactly how quick and how easy it is to go through this little section. It's square, so it makes it nice and easy. There's no corners to have to work around. So you just lay a piece, Go get your next piece, snap it on the end, lift it up, put it under, tap it in, over and over. Once you get to the end, you're just going to have to kind of turn it around, get your measurement, score your line, cut it off, flip it back around, and install it. Another good rule of thumb is to be about as random as you can possibly be, especially out in the areas that have high traffic. Here on the slide, there's going to be the dinette set and the couch, so I don't have to quite be as random, because your eye is going to catch up. It's going to catch those, see those two cut lines, or where the two lines are there, where the two pieces come together. It's not very random, but it doesn't matter here on the slide out. Out there in the living area, on the main walking area, you want it to be about as random as possible. So now I'm going to be putting down the transition strip that goes on the slide out seam. And this is a reducer in Dockside Hickory. I mean, who knew that they had color matched trim pieces? So it comes in two pieces. The top piece that snaps into this piece that I'm putting down, as you see me snapping it in there. But the bottom piece, I could have easily probably just, tacked it down with some staples or something like that. But I decided to use liquid nails. And here's what it looks like. That the piece that it connects to. But gluing it down with liquid nails worked just fine. So as I'm finishing up this trim, the very last thing that I did was go around the whole entire RV with quarter round and just cleaned up the edges. So now let's take a look at the final product. All right, so there you go. That's how easy it is to correct the subfloor and lay your own LVP in your RV. That's a lot of just, can I get a vowel? Hey, if you're into this DIY stuff, please consider subscribing to the channel and please give it a like, share, and comment. I love your comments, and that also helps me produce the next video. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say. We'll see you in the next video in your RV, and you can do it all yourself. Just take your time. Wow, that was a fly that just like blew right in front of me.